Are you ready? I said, are you ready? Today is a monumental day in sports. While there's a lot of excitement, while there's a lot of anticipation, today's also very bittersweet. Parishioners of Woke United Methodist, they are mixing happy tears with triggered emotional tears. I'm sure all you guys are aware of the emotional journey that begins today. Well, KC, are you talking about rookies reporting to training camp in the NFL? Well, yeah. That's what most of us American males are excited about today. Rookies, they have been reporting to training camp throughout the NFL this week, signaling the unofficial start to football season. But I'm not talking about our excitement for a real sport that's beginning. Let's not be selfish here. I'm talking about the excitement in the community of virgins and wanker spankers. 8 o'clock tonight, live on Fox. This event was so important that Fox moved a guaranteed ratings draw in WWE SmackDown to FS1 to make room for this celebration. 8 o'clock tonight, the retirement journey begins for America's favorite prepubescent boy. The activists on the U.S. women's soccer team, the women who have fought through years of oppression and adversity, they're going to take the field tonight, battling against teams with women who deal with real oppression to possibly earn their third World Cup title. The woke boners are standing at full attention throughout the mainstream media. Members of the media, they are waiting with lube in anticipation. They are taking bets as to what hair color their soon-to-be retired hero will be choosing. My money's on purple. I'm going with blue. I think she's going all natural and it's gonna be gray. If you were to believe the mainstream media, tens of millions of Americans are excited to support the professional activists and part-time soccer players on the U.S. women's team. If you were to believe the mainstream media, millions of Americans look to these women for inspiration. They are heroes. Wouldn't the proper term be heroines? No, have you seen Megan and Rapinoe? They definitely prefer to be called heroes. The thing is, I looked down the list of institutions that I trust. Mainstream media did not make the list. Matter of fact, they rank near the bottom, a slot below the federal government. Sports. Sports have always been one of the few things that we have that unite people, that bring people together, especially global events where the team is representing your country. We have seen in the past how the entire country will get behind a certain team. The Dream Team in 1992, the Redeem Team in 2008 before LeBron James turned people against the NBA. I remember the first World Baseball Classic, I think it was in the mid-2000s. I think it was a big deal back then. Last year, America, we fully supported the men's team in the World Cup. But what about this group of women? Will America universally support them? Can this group of divisive women really bring the country together? Is this group a true representation of American values? The media thinks so, but on this channel, I don't give a shit what the media thinks. The mainstream media is nothing but lies and propaganda. They're full of shit. I want to know what you think. If you were to believe the results of a recently conducted poll, the vast majority of Americans do not support the U.S. women's soccer team. But before we get into that, let me get to the sponsor for today's video, my friends over at GPT Anonymous. I'm sure all of you guys are familiar at this point with ChatGPT. There's no telling how much it costs to develop this program, tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars. Have you ever stopped and wondered how a major tech company could spend millions developing this program and it's offered to us for free? Answer's quite simple. They force you to sign in. They know who you are. They're selling your information, political leanings, medical problems, hobbies, interests. They're selling all of it. Basically, they are selling you. But what if I told you there was a program similar to ChatGPT where all your private information is kept private? That is exactly what my friends at GPT Anonymous are offering you. This program gives you the ability to chat with the best AI programs without sacrificing your privacy and information. There's no login required. Hell, they don't even ask for your name. They don't care. All you got to do, download the program, start asking away. GPT Anonymous, they offer a free trial period. And if you use my promo code NOTWOKE, you'll receive 10% off your first purchase of tokens. Protect your privacy. Protect yourself. Click the link in the description below or head over to gptanonymous.com to start today. All right, in the past, it would be looked at as downright un-American to root against the team representing your country. But when it comes to this particular group on the U.S. women's soccer team, it might be un-American to support them. Wednesday, my boys over at Outkick, they conducted a poll on Twitter. They asked one simple question, provided two answers. Who are you rooting for in the Women's World Cup? The U.S. women's team or any other opposing country, basically the field? If you were to ask this question about any other team representing America, the results would be damn near unanimous. I'd say between, 95, 99% would vote to support America. Now, the reason I wouldn't go with 100%, you always have that shitfuck who refuses to support America. But with this group of activists on the U.S. women's soccer team, the results were a bit different. Nearly 4,600 people participated in this poll in 24 hours. 76% said they were supporting the world against America. 76%. Full transparency here. For those that aren't familiar, Outkick is a conservative sports site founded by Clay Travis. Vast majority of their readers are center-right, also known as normal people. I normally don't put too much stock into polls. Polls are typically unreliable, but I thought this particular poll was interesting. Do I think this represents how most Americans feel? Normally, I would say no, but I just have this feeling that there are millions of people who don't support the Rapinoes. I mean, just think about this for a second. This group of women, they have given America every reason not to support them. Let's start back in 2019 when the so-called leader in the fight against mythical misogyny stole a business strategy from a toxically masculine birthing person and began kneeling for the national anthem. The hubby of the Sue Bird wanted to continue kneeling during the World Cup. Officials from U.S. Soccer said, "Get off my field. You're either going to stand for the national anthem and respect this country, or you can go back to the NWSL and collect minimum wage." How did Megan and Rapinoe respond? "Fine, asshole. I'll stand, but I refuse to place my hand over my woke heart. This heart doesn't belong to America. It belongs to my wife, Tweety Bird." Following year, 2020, the activists, they would take the field for pregame warm-ups. They were given pregame jerseys to wear. Obviously, these jerseys were supplied free of charge since most of these women are minimum wage earners in the NWSL. I mean, those $30, $40, $50 shirts, they can become unaffordable to minimum wage earners. But they refused to wear the pregame jerseys they were supplied, which were draped in Americana. They couldn't support a country known for oppression and mythical racism and mythical misogyny. No. Instead, they wore shirts that flaunted their true values. Maggie and her band of Rapinoes, they took the field in Black Lives Matter t-shirts. Did I miss something? Was there a new country formed called Black Lives Matter? I mean, if so, that's great. We can send all birthing persons who suffer through mythical oppression here in America to live in the utopia of BLM. Last year, this group of activists, they were leading the fight for equal pay. Well, Casey, what does equal pay mean? It means this group of entitled women were demanding to be compensated with money they haven't earned. They disguised this bullshit as a fight for women. We are fighting for all women. We want women to be paid the same as toxic masculinity. Unfortunately, the Rapinoes won their fight for equal pay, so when the men were busting their ass last year to advance in the World Cup, guess who was paid millions of dollars? The housewives on the U.S. women's soccer team. Maggie, she was completely overjoyed when she heard the news. She was so excited. This money allowed her and the Sue Bird to move out of their nest in the pine tree to build a nice new nest in the maple tree. This maple tree is located directly across from a woke oak tree, so they can worship on Sunday mornings and they always have access to plenty of nuts. Fast forward to this year. The women, they have collected the money they haven't earned. They have supposedly won the fight for women of the future. How do they celebrate this victory? By guaranteeing that young women in America will never be given the same opportunities that this group of entitled women were given. This fight for equal pay, it wasn't for young women of the future. This fight for equal pay, it was for other prepubescent boys. You see, Megan Rapinoe, she is one of the leading advocates for biological men to compete in women's sports. A couple of weeks ago, she publicly said that she would welcome a biological male on the U.S. women's team. Well, I'm sure she would now since she's retiring. This is the same Megan Rapinoe who has been claiming for years that the system was rampant with mythical misogyny. And what's the first thing that she does when she announces her retirement? She advocates for actual misogyny. During their fight for equal pay, one of the arguments they used in court was that their team was more successful than the men's team. We win more. We've won World Cups for this country, damn it! And we don't get the same respect because no one watches our shitty soccer matches. This is true. The women's team is more successful. They do win more, but there's a huge, huge disparity here. You see, the men, they are competing against elite soccer teams. The women, they're competing against countries where other women are actually oppressed. The level of competition is far lower for the women than it is for the men. Imagine what women in Pakistan, women in Iran, imagine what those women think when they see this group of entitled women complaining about mythical oppression. The women in those countries, they are living through real oppression. And they see this group of entitled women complaining about mythical oppression. The Rapinoes, they are not competing for America. The Rapinoes are competing for the Rapinoes themselves. This is a group of selfish, entitled women, and they are not a true representation of America. This is one of the few instances where I have no idea what ratings are going to be for this World Cup. Historically, the World Cup's a huge draw. Even here in America, where soccer is not as popular as other sports like the NFL, the NBA, hockey. But I just have this feeling that this year is going to be different for the U.S. women's team in the World Cup. Now, I could be wrong, but normal people are fed up. Normal people are tired of the anti-American bullshit. For the first time in years, normal people are speaking up, but they're not using their voice. They're using their attention and their money. We just saw CMT boost the career of Jason Aldean by refusing to play his video. When I shared that story with you guys earlier this week, I think it was on Tuesday, that video had less than 1 million views on YouTube in 5 days. When I checked it last night, 36 hours later, over 6 million. We all know what happened with Bud Light and Target. We all know what happened with Major League Baseball and the NBA. They've never recovered. Normal people have found a way to cost these powerful organizations billions of dollars. The question is, will the U.S. women's team be next? Will they be next to feel the wrath of normal people? Guess we're going to find out this weekend. Me personally, I hope normal people send a clear message this weekend. I have never been one to not support my country, but I don't think this group of women is an accurate representation of American values or America. Don't get me wrong, I support America. I do not support Megan Rapinoe. I'm not a big fan of soccer, but I'll watch the major events. I'll watch the World Cup, but I absolutely refuse to watch these women. And I realize that not all the women on this team are identifiers like Megan Rapinoe, but we don't know who they are because they're silent, and their silence is compliance. What do you think? Will you be supporting the women's team in the World Cup? Are you going to watch? Give me your guess. What do you think ratings are going to be tonight? I think they could easily break 1 million. I mean, it's broadcast television where everything eclipses 1 million viewers, except, of course, the WNBA. But give me your estimate. How many people are going to be watching the team of activists tonight on Fox? Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.